Good day, folks. Welcome back to MB Wildman channel. It is mid-March here in New Brunswick, and it is a beauty outside today. Nice and warm. The snow's dripping down. It's got me thinking bear baits and trail cameras and all that stuff. So I just wanted to share with you today a real quick tip on protecting your cameras. Something you can do, especially this time of year or like late fall. So this time of year it's always a mixed bag of weather here in New Brunswick where I am. So you see heavy rain, or you can get snow, or you can get freezing rain or whatever. Lots of times what you'll find is if you've got your cameras still out, or you're scouting spots, or you've got them on a food plot, or you've got them at the bear bait early, or whatever it is, whenever you get your cameras out, there's lots of times that you can get some nasty weather that'll mess up your cameras, and you get a lot of like fog shots, or you get a lot of, if you get a little freezing rain, then all you get is ice pictures, or if you get some snow, then you just get these white pictures because all it took is like flashes of the snow in front of the lens and all that. So just a real quick tip today, using a 5-gallon bucket. I'm going to show you a real quick way that you can make basically a cover or a cap for your cameras to keep that weather off of the cameras, keep them running year round. It's real quick, real simple, real easy to do. So anyway, listen, if you haven't yet subscribed to the MB Wildman channel, we sure would appreciate it. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and if you like the content, you can click on that bell, get notified when we upload new stuff. As always, we'll take questions, comments, concerns, whatever you got. Just go ahead and leave those in the comment section down below, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. All right, so to get this going, all you're going to need is one 5-gallon bucket. One bucket makes 2 of these kind of protectors. You can use whatever you want. Obviously, it doesn't have to be a Black Home Hardware bucket. And I always end up painting these at the end when I'm done anyway. So that's you can use whatever you want. So here's the first thing. Step 1, I guess, is that we're gonna knock these. We're gonna take the handle off, right? So basically, just pop the handle off the bucket. One. Okay, so don't need the handle. You can use that for something else. And we're left with our bucket. Now, all you're going to do for this step here, now I used to mark these, but it doesn't really matter whether they're straight across the center or not. But most of these buckets have a seam in them because they're built in 2 pieces, right? So if you can see this one here, I don't know if you can see it, but right down here, there's a pretty clear seam where these are like molded. And you can see that on both sides. So what I do is I like to follow that right straight across. I like to follow that seam right across. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this bucket in half. Okay, so basically just down the side, across the bottom, down the other side, and split it right in 2. Okay. I like to use one of these babies if you got one. You can use absolutely anything. You can use absolutely anything for this. I mean, you can use a handsaw, you can use a skill saw, whatever floats your boat in that department. This little dandy, I don't even know what it's called. But I got it working on the camp, and man, it is a dandy. Just a little 3-inch blade. I don't even know what it's called. I really don't. But anyway, this is what I use. They work great. So whatever you want, you just got to cut the bucket in half. Okay. As you can see, it doesn't have to be perfect, but close is good, right? Make sure you're wearing, right, safety stuff, gloves if that's a thing, safety glasses, right, if you're not wearing prescriptions. You always want to get safety first. You don't want to get hurt doing any of this stuff. Not worth it. Beauty. Okay, there we go. 2 halves of a bucket. Just that simple. All right, so you got 2 halves of your bucket, just like that. And the next thing that you're going to want to do is, or what I do, some people leave them like this. I don't like that. They're really, really top heavy. A lot of today's buckets, especially the 5-gallon pails that you get for like construction places and that, they've got all these extra ribs up the top. They make them really heavy on the top. So I'm going to cut this right along there and trim that down the exact same way. Okay. So just put that into your recycling pile because these buckets are recyclable. Yep, they're recyclable. So put that in your recycling. And this is what you're left with. Okay, so you're left with basically half of a bucket, and it's got the heavy part cut off. Now all you want to do now, depending on how you mount your cameras, what I do is I always put 2 little slots in the back. Okay, now depending on how you put your cameras up and what you want, what this allows you to do is it just allows you to run your straps. Okay, so if you're going to attach this to a tree, you get your camera mounted down here, however, then you've got these two slots that you can run a strap in through, and so you can actually use this cover, this hood, over top of your camera and attach it to the tree with the same type of strap you would attach a camera or whatever. Also, what you can do is, if you don't want to do that, let me make this one real quick, just one sec. Okay, so if you don't want to use the slots in the back to attach them to the tree, like, I don't know, maybe you're able to bolt your cameras right to the tree or whatever. So if you want to do that, then simply just leave the back hole, gives it a little more strength, and then just put this up on your tree. Put a couple of bolts, right, or a couple of screws or whatever you do up onto the tree like that. And then that allows you to put your hood up that way. But either way, I put the slots in the back because I like to put them up with straps. I don't like screwing it into the tree usually, depending on where I'm at. So, and then after this point right here, all I would do is I would take these and I would put some green paint, some brown paint, some whatever, just camo them up, get rid of that. Obviously, I'm not a home hardware representative, but this is where the pail came from. And then basically all you do, let me show this to you. Obviously, you've probably figured it out by now, but if my camera, whoa, how's that? Okay, so if my camera was mounted right here to the post of the step, right? So if I've got my camera here and it's pointed out wherever, I'm simply going to strap this above it, just like that, right? So what I've just created, more or less, is a real quick, real simple, really easy hood, and my camera sits down here. That way any snow or any rain or anything like that, it keeps off of the camera, but it also allows a clear enough shot. This doesn't interfere with anything. It doesn't interfere with the motion because you've got side to side, you've got all the bottom, you've got all those places. It doesn't interfere with any of the motion. When your camera takes a picture, you don't see any of this, obviously, because it's going to be up, you know, a little bit above your camera for sure. The other thing it does is if you've got, you know, like your batteries and stuff, if you want to try to keep those dry, that'll help with that. Now I know what some of you guys are thinking, and girls, you're thinking, I can't use those because the bears will eat them, right? So if you put that out and the bear sees that attached to a tree, then they're going to come over and eat the camera. Well, if you got bear problems like that and they're going to eat the cameras, you either got to use a bear box and then one of these, or don't use it. that's where you're at. So that is one of the options. Just obviously not use them, of course. I don't use them at every spot, but there are some spots too. There are some spots that that these do come in super handy, right? The other thing is I'm going to get some people say, oh, well, I can't use that because it makes the cameras too obvious and someone will steal it. Well, they do make them pretty obvious. You're walking through the woods and you see one of these babies, whether it's camo or not, sitting on a tree, then you're going to come over and investigate that. And if you've got thieves in your area, then you're probably going to lose cameras. That sucks, and sadly, that's part of hunting. It shouldn't be, but it is. But it would surprise you if you camo these up and you paint them like the green and the brown and the whatever. It would surprise you how many people walk right by them and they don't see these either. So anyway, this is just a real quick tip for you guys out there. Hope this is something that can help you out. Just a quick and easy way to make a hood for your camera to keep it running year round out of the weather and the snow and the sleet and the hail and the rain and whatever else happens where you're at. So anyway, until next time, happy hunting from the MB Wildman channel.